last session where we stopped. Okay, let me open our workspace folder first. So I asked you to install the editor. Okay, you all are installed, right? VS Code, Visual Studio Code Editor. If you not install, just install that VS Code Editor. Okay, it's like open source only. Directly you can go to the Google and type VS Code. Okay, you can directly install it. Let me open our workspace folder first. Yeah. So last session we completed like few things, okay, which is related to login page. The next one is like inline element, block load element, and some assignments also we completed, right? Which assignments we completed? Go to Kalam Schools, go to 11 a.m. Okay, last session we discussed about these these questions. Okay, anyone have any questions? Why we go for HTML? Everyone knows, right? Why we go for HTML? If anybody asks the question why we go for HTML, what's your answer? Very simple. To prepare some content which is loaded inside the browser or not. For example, you can open the browser, any website you can open. The content which is visible to the end user. This is the content visible to us or not. We are the end users. The content which is visible to the end user, that content we can develop by using, okay, client-side technologies. My HTML also come under client-side technology only. So you can say like this: by using HTML, we can prepare some content which is loaded inside the browser. Which is loaded inside the browser. That is the answer. What is inline and what is block load elements? What is inline and what is block level?
The element which take content width as is width.
Yeah, the element which takes the content width as its own width, that kind of elements we can say like a inline. The element which takes parent width as its own width, that type of elements we can say like a block level.
Block
So
level elements.
let's go to Google. I want to practice here only. I don't want to use any editor. Just use this. Whatever the elements tab we have, just remove it. How we can remove? Edit as HTML. Just delete everything. Okay. Now you can write. Okay. Div searching. I'm going to write like one more element span. Okay, simply Dhoni. Click outside. Now see my Sachin and Dhoni printed or not. Okay, you can write this code in the HTML file. You can run it. That is also one option. But instantly, if you want to check something, you can go like this or not. Now tell me which elements are like default elements. Which elements are like default? By default, which elements are going to load inside the browser?
HTML head and body.
HTML head and body or not. So my question is, which element we can say like a block level? I'm telling like this is a block level element. How we can say block level means very simple. If you observe here, all the elements placed in the hierarchy mode, right? So who is the parent of my body? HTML. Let's come to here. Okay, if you come here, what is the height and width of my HTML element? Height and width of my HTML element. By seeing this one, you can tell 1280 is my width and 52 my height. Height is not a matter for me. Width you can remember. So if you put the cursor on my body, okay, now here see my body is like what? 1264 is what? 1264 my
width.
My width, right? Okay, 1264 is my width. Okay, but here there is a red shade is there. That red shade we can say like what? Margin. Okay, the margin in your CSS, we can discuss something more. Okay, for now, what is my width? What is my width? Body width. Come on.
1264.
1264 or not? If I put the cursor on my div width is how much?
1 to 64.
1 to 64, right? 1 to 64. The element which take my parent width as its own width, that kind of elements, what we can say?
Block level
Top
elements.
level elements or not. So my div width is how much? 64. Margin there or not there to my div? Margin there or not there?
Not there.
Not there, right? How we can say, means one is like you can see in your right side, okay, CSS properties. Another one is like just put the cursor on my div, red shade is there, means you can say margin is there, but margin is there or not there? See here, margin is not there, margin is not there. So the element div take whose width as its own width. My parent width is what? 1260. My div width also what? My
1
div
to
width is 1264. The element which takes parent width as its own width, that kind of elements, what we can say? Block level elements or not. Now my div is which kind of element?
block level.
Block level element. Now my body is which kind of element?
Block
Block
level.
level.
Block level. But my body width is how much?
1264.
Who is the parent of my body?
HTML.
My HTML width is how much?
1 to 8.
1280. But this width is how much? 1264. Now my body is a block level element. The element which take parent width, right? But my parent width is 1280 or not. But here 1264 is there, na? But still my body is a block level element or not. Why? Why means very simple. See, there has a left side margin also there, right side margin also there or not there. Yes or no? Okay, my in my width, my margin also you can include. Now if I include the margin 1264 actual width, left side margin is how much? See this, how much?
8.
8. Right side margin is how much? Come on, left to right both are there. See, red shade, left side also there, right side also there, top is the bottom also there. Left 8, right also 8. 8 plus 8,
16.
16. 16 plus 1264,
1280
1280. 1280
1280.
whose width?
HTML.
HTML, my parent width or not? Yes or no? Got my point? Come on. So my margin also you should have to include. Understood, right, everyone? Got my point? My span is which kind of element?
Inline.
Inline.
My span is which kind of element? Inline. How we can say it's inline? It's take only content width, right? See, Dhoni. Okay, only 5 characters are there. It is going to take that 5 characters only or not? The element which take content width as its own width, that kind of elements, what we can say?
Inline elements.
Inline elements or not. Okay, done. The next one is like, can we convert inline to block level?
Yes.
We
Yes,
can
how we can convert?
display equal to
Display
Display block. Okay, now see, if I put that one, my span is turned to be like what? Inline or block level now?
block
block
level.
level.
Block level. My parent width is how much? 1264. Now see, my span also take like 1264 only or not? Okay, so I can convert one inline element into block level or not. Yes, no? Next, why H1 element behaving like this? Big font size and everything. Why my H1 is like this? Do you know?
By default display block.
Why my H1 is like this? Big font size. Okay, there has a gap, top and bottom, all this. Why? Okay, now see, my H1 by default, H1 is an element. By default, applied with these many CSS properties or not. Element behavior is completely depending upon
CSS behavior.
CSS,
CSS properties.
CSS, what you apply to the element or not. So my H1 is okay applied with these many CSS properties. Okay, if you observe here, display block, that the reason it's a block level element, it's take my parent width or not. See, if you observe here, margin is there or not there to my H1? Margin
Yes,
is there
there.
or not there? By seeing this one, tell me, margin is there or not there?
There.
There. But 4 sides there are, 2 sides there are? Come on,
Top and bottom.
difference. Okay, here we have red shade, 4 sides, but here
2 sides.
2 sides, only top and bottom, right to left to not there. Okay, now see, Font size 2 em. There are big font size. Font weight bold. Yes, bold. That's the reason. Because of these many CSS properties are applied to my element H1. That's the reason my H1 is behaving like this or not. So one point I'm trying to say here is elements behavior is completely depending upon the CSS what you applied. That's it. Okay, now the next question. What is an attribute? An attribute is like a key value pair. It is going to tell something about your element. That's it. Attribute is a key value pair. It tells something about your element or not. Okay. Main difference between programming language and markup language. The main difference is what?
No
Compile.
compilation required.
Compile. Markup language, no compilation is
No
nothing. Directly it's going to run. Okay. Tell me some inline elements and block level elements.
Span.
Size,
Yeah, span, italic, bold,
italic, bold.
the image, these all are like inline. Block level, div, para, h1 to h6, ul, ol, these all are come under block level. Can I change the span like a h1?
Yes.
We can.
Yes. Okay, how we can? My h1,
Size.
whatever the CSS properties you applied, okay, copy the CSS properties, go to the span, okay, just you can add those properties. Now span turn to be what? My span turn to be what now?
H1.
One or not? Yes. The next one. What is web application? What is web application? It's a client
Client server.
communication application. My client application always run inside the browser.
Bro.
Always run inside the browser. That kind of applications, what we can say, web application or not. Okay. If you learn, okay, this course, what kind of opportunities you can get it? Just I'm talking about, okay, roles. HTML and CSS only if you know, then you are a designer. You're a designer. HTML, CSS, JavaScript with React or Vue or Angular, if you know, then you are like a front-end developer, right? You are engineer, front-end developer. If you know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and Node.js and MongoDB, then you are like a man stack engineer. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Angular, you know, Node.js, MongoDB, if you know, you are a mean stack engineer. You know front-end HTML, CSS, JavaScript with React or Angular or Vue, back-end Java, Python or .NET, if you know, and MongoDB or MySQL, any one of the DB, you know, DevOps, okay, some knowledge if you have, you are become like what? Full stack engineer or not? Yes or no? Tell me something about the developer console window. Tell me something about the developer console window. Anyone? Developer console window. Come on, as a UI developer, this is very, very important. How we can open the developer console window? Okay, now see this window, you can say like a developer console window. You can open any tab. You can open any tab. Now see, you can open any tab. Now you can right click on this and do what? Inspect. This is one option. Right click on it and inspect it. If I do right click and inspect, now see there has one more window opened or not. See this window, I can say like what? This window, I can say like what terminology wise?
Developer.
Developer console window. In this window, there has multiple tabs are there. Do you know? See this? These tabs. This is like a menu one. You know? This menu we can say like what? Terminology wise? Context menu. Okay. Terminology is what we can say. This menu is like a context menu or not. Do you know some of the applications they're restricted? They're restricted to open this developer console window. Do you know that? Banking websites, if you see, okay, see, for example, Access, you can take it, Access Bank. Okay, now open this. Now, if you do right click, now see, now if you come here, okay, if I'm trying to do right click, see, I'm clicking on this one, okay, it is not allow you to do the right click. Okay, but don't worry about that one. There has one shortcut is there. Using that shortcut, you can open the developer console window. That is like F12. Okay, that is like what? F12 functional keys. You can press F12, then the time automatically you can open that developer console window. Okay, that is one option. Another option is what? You know, very simple. Now open the new tab. Don't open anything. Don't open any URL. Right click on it, inspect it first. Now it is open, right? Now go to previous tab. What is our application name? Axisbank.com. Go here and open it. Now say this. Now my developer console window opened or not? Yes or no? Understood? Okay, see,
Understood.
HTML and CSS, those are like public. Those are like public. Those are loaded inside where? Inside the browser. Okay, those are visible, directly visible. But JavaScript is there, na? That is also loaded inside where? Browser only, but the JavaScript code is like minified. Minified. It's not like understandable format. Functionality wise, it's going to work. Okay. So this particular window, we can say like what? This particular window we can say like a developer console window or not. As a UI developer, you should know about 5 tabs. Last session I told you which tabs: elements, console, source, network, application. Now I need like one line answers. Okay, first elements tab, can anyone tell?
Which contains source code.
Yeah, whatever the content is visible, whatever the content is visible, that content related source code we can see in the elements tab or not. At the same time, that particular source code applied with which CSS also you can see it. Okay, let me show you. For example, live TV is there, na? This live TV, what kind of code they written, I want to see. How we can right click on it and do inspect. Sometimes right click they're not allowed. Then the time, don't worry. The first button, if you observe here, see in the developer console window, the first button. Okay, can you read the tooltip? Select an element in the page to inspect it. Select an element in the page to inspect it. Now click on it. Now again click it. See, first it is like in which color? Normal black. Okay, if I click on this one, it's turned to be like active or not. Now what you want me to do? Don't do anything. Okay, just which element. Okay, don't click immediately. Which element, which content related code you want to see, just drag your cursor in the active mode only. Which content related code you want to see? This one. So whenever you reach to that particular content, do click again. Just click again. If I click again in the elements tab, something is highlighted, that particular code only related to this content or not. Yes or no? This is the code or not? Agreed? This is the code they written. For what purpose? For what purpose? To prepare this content or not? Okay, that is one thing. The next one is like this source code, this element applied with which CSS I can see in the elements tab only or not. See, there has some padding is there. Okay, all this stuff. For example, if you want to apply some color, my color is like a red, my font size is like a 50 pixel, my font weight equals to bold, my font style equals to italic, and my font family equals to something like this. What you want, just you can change. Okay, the look and feel or not. Yes or no? Agreed? Come on. Okay, so tell something about elements tab. In the elements tab, the content related source code I can see. That source code or elements applied with which CSS, that CSS also you can see or not. The source code applied with which CSS properties, that CSS also you can see here or not. Agreed, everyone? That is about elements tab. What about console tab? Come on, last time. See here in the andtv.com only, if you observe here, see what you can say. See, while running your application, if you want to see the log messages, you can write the log messages. Okay, you can write some code to print those log messages like console.log of something. Whatever the log messages you are trying to print, those messages you can see in the developer console window in the console tab. Okay, application related log messages or exception related messages, whatever it is, those messages I can see in the console tab. Whenever you run an application, if your application is like running into one issue, that issue related at least information you can see in the console. That means every message in your application, the messages are going to log in the console tab. Understood? The messages are going to log in the console tab. Okay or not? Okay, one more important point also we discussed. Why we go for console tab? Can anyone tell? Anyone of you?
To print the log message.
Yeah, that is to print the log messages. This one only. Another one.
We can write the JavaScript code also.
Just
Yeah. Okay. See, if you write a Java program, what you have to do? You have to install Java software and open the editor, and you have to write the program, compile the program, and run the program, and then you can see the output or not. But if it is like JavaScript, nothing is required. Go to the console. Okay. Go to the browser. Open one tab. Open developer console window. Go to the console and write whatever the code you want. For example, okay, just I want to print 1 to 10 numbers. Okay, just you can write like this. This is one simple program or not. So console dot log of okay, I now you can see 1 to 10 numbers or 0 to 10 numbers printed or not. Like that, any JavaScript program you can write and execute in the console tab. Understood, everyone? Hello, okay? Okay, next one. What about the network and source? What about the network first? Tell me. Why we go for network tab?
To track request and response.
Yeah, see, by default, this is my mission. Okay, in my mission, by default, NDTV is there. NDTV related content is there. By default, Google content is there. By default, some other content is there. By default, not right. In my mission, only browser is with me. That's it. Only browser is with me. If you want NDTV related content, my browser should request to get this content. Once you get the content, you can see or you can load that content or not. Yes, no? Yes or no? By default, my mission has a browser, or empty browser. That's it. In that browser, by default, ndtv.com is not loaded. My mission, google.com not loaded. Only I have an empty browser. Whenever you run ndtv.com, whenever you run ndtv.com, then what happened? Whenever you run ndtv.com, then what happened? Come on, my browser requested, right? Okay, my browser requested to get this content and display that content or not. Now, to load ndtv.com first landing page, my browser send how many requests, how we can see, where I can track all the requests, what my browser send. Go to inspect it. Okay, go to network tab. Go to network tab. Now you can come here and refresh the page. Okay, now see, whenever I refresh the page to load my first ndtv.com landing page, my browser send how many requests? See, observe here. My browser send how many requests to my ndtv.com? There has these many requests my browser is keep on sending. How much data transferred from outside into my browser? There has 500 KB data transferred into my browser or not? Yes or no? Come on.
yes.
Okay, so once my browser send a request and get the response. For example, you are the browser, I am the person ready to give something based on your request. If you ask something, if I give it to you, you are the person going to use it. So if you want to use at this moment, okay, you can use it. If you want to use later sometime, you can use it. If you want to use after some time, then that time whatever I given, you have to store somewhere or not, you have to keep somewhere or not. My browser gets some value, okay, get some data. That data immediately, if you want, you can use it. Later sometime if you want use, you can use it. Okay, based on my requirement, I can use it. For that purpose, whatever I am getting, whatever I get the data, whatever I get the content based on my requests, so that content you have to store somewhere or not for future purpose. My browser send a request and get the response. Those request and responses stored where tracked where in the network tab. Once you get the response, that response I want to store it for future purpose. Where it is going to store? I want to store my response for future purpose. Where it is going to store? In the source tab or not? See this. In the source tab, it is going to store somewhere. Okay, whatever you see here, somewhere you can see in your browser all these things. Somewhere you can see in your browser. Understood? Whatever my browser send a request, that request related content, the request related, okay, whatever my browser send a request, that request related response we can store where? Within the source tab or not. Now here it's like a big application. There has a 700 requests sent my browser and get the response. It's very difficult to track it. Shall we do one thing? We have some simple pages now. We have some simple pages or not? See this. We have some simple pages or not. Okay, if you observe this particular page, if you run it, so you can run this one. See, you can run it. Okay, my browser by default having this particular data? No, my browser requested or not. See, you can inspect it, go to the network. Now if I refresh the page, now my browser sent how many requests to load this content? My browser, how many requests? One request my browser sent. Okay, how much data transferred? 154 bytes data transferred or not? To whom my browser send a request? Come on, to whom my browser send a request? In my C drive, users, admin, documents, workspace, VTS, weekend. Okay, this is my actual path or not? This is my request URL or not? Whenever I requested to this particular URL, I get the response or not? This is my response. Now my question is, my browser send a request and get the response. For future purpose, that response my browser should store somewhere or not. Where it is going to store means in the source tab it is stored. In the source tab, if you observe, see my login.html stored or not? Come on.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, it's stored or not? Now what you can understand? In the network tab, we can track request and responses what my browser sent. Okay, we can track the request and responses. You can say whenever you get the response, that response related content stored where in the browser? In the source tab or not? It's not. Okay, so tell me, network tab and source tab both are in sync or not? Why? Because, okay, whenever my browser send a request and get the response, that response only, right? Stored where? In the source tab. Okay, na? Okay, one more also I told, one more point also we added. What is that?
Can see hierarchy in
Debugging purpose, na? Source tab. Debugging purpose, right? Yes or no? Debugging is nothing but what? Okay, in the console tab, I can write some code, okay, some JavaScript code or not. By seeing this one, can anyone tell me what is this? If you have an idea on C, this is not a big deal. You written a function to find the sum of what? Two numbers or not. So can I write find sum 10 comma 20? Yes. Find sum, okay, something like this. Yes. Now you written some code in the console, JavaScript code, you are able to execute it, you can see the output and everything or not. That's okay, fine. We already discussed. But source tab, why we go, to debug your code. How we can debug it? Debugger. Okay. Now, if I run find some, see, it is not directly gives me the output. It is navigate to the source tab. It is stop the execution and you can track line by line execution or not. What is my n1 value? 10. What is my n2 value? This is the one. Now my n1 and n2 value, see if I click on this one, n1 value 10, n2 value 20. N1 and n2 value they printed in the console. You can come out now. Like this, you can track line by line execution. You can debug line by line. Okay, there has hundreds lines of code is there where exactly the issue was. You have to debug the code or not. This is very, very important if it's like a big application where exactly the issue was. To find out, debugging is very, very important so that you can write the JavaScript code in the console. Whenever it is debugged, it is navigate to where? Whenever you debug, it's navigate to source tab or not. Okay, na? Okay, then what is the next one? Application tab. Can anyone tell me why we go for? Why we go for application tab? Come on, why we go for application tab? I already told to you. Basically, for example, if you take Google registration form, whenever you registered in the Google or for mail purpose, if whenever you register for Gmail, your data stored somewhere or not, where it is going to store, where it is going to store your data,
DB.
your data stored in the database, no? Your data stored in the database. Okay, that is not inside the browser, right? It is somewhere in my mission or somewhere. My data stored in the database. For example, I don't want database. I want to store the data in my browser itself. Is there any possibility is there or not? There means yes, there in my browser itself we have some storages. Those storages, can you see? Local storage, session storage, index DB, cookies, like this. There has my browser storages or not. In my browser also I can store the data or not. In my browser also I can store the data. Understood, everyone? Okay, that storages where I can see, that storages where I can see my storages in my local storage, in the application tab, local storage, session storage, cookies, index DB. First four storages we are going to discuss in the JavaScript sessions. Understood? First five tabs, okay? Online answers, okay? Everyone? Elements tab. We can see the content related source code and the styles applied to the source code or not. Source, whatever the response you are getting, okay, for the request, we can store it or not. And the debugging purpose also. The next one is work. Okay, network tab to track request and responses. Request and source both are like in sync. Console, it is working like a JavaScript environment to print some log messages. Those are like info logs or error logs, whatever it may be. Application, okay, it is like what? Handle the browser storages or not. Okay, now which menu is, we can say like a context menu. In the developer console window, this menu, okay, under context menu, okay, commander, okay, it's like terminology wise, we can say like a context menu. Default tags, everyone knows this one. Element behavior is depending upon what? Elements behavior is depending upon what?
CSS.
Look at the CSS, what you applied or not. Up to okay, everyone? Okay, I have one small question, okay? Just answer this. Now, okay, I want to practice here itself. Okay, if you want to practice, okay, go to Elements tab, edit as HTML, just delete everything, okay? Na? Delete everything. I'm going to write like, okay, see, in this case, what happened? Every time it's like refreshing or not. Every time it's like refreshing. Okay, instead of that one, you can take another one. Now, edit as HTML. Okay, here I'm going to use like input. Okay, I'm going to use like input. Now inside the body, okay, I have one tag is like what? Input tag. Whenever you written like this, the look and feel, okay, the look and feel, the element behavior something like this or not. Why the input is behaving like this? What is the reason behind this? One element behaving like this, input is behaving like this. Why? That is the question I'm asking.
Default CSS property.
Because of CSS, don't think more. Element behavior is depending upon the CSS. That's it. Elements behavior is depending upon the CSS. That's it. If you come to my input, how many CSS properties are applied? How we can see? Come to the right side. See, these many CSS properties are applied or not. Because of these many CSS properties applied, okay, the input is behaving like what? The input is behaving like this or not? Yes or no? Agreed with me? All are? Come on. Okay, now I'm going to write something. Okay, one more element also I want to write it. Edit as HTML. Okay, now here also one more element also there. That is input only. Okay, that is how many inputs are there. This is one input. These many CSS properties applied. This is also one more input. These many CSS properties applied. Okay, now this is related to username, this is related to password. By seeing this one, are you able to differentiate or not? By seeing this one at this moment, are you able to differentiate or not?
No.
No, right? Okay, now two ways. One is like you can give the label, okay, like this. Another one is like, can I give the placeholder? Yes or no? If I write the placeholder is like what? If I write like this, what you can say? If I write like this, what you can say? This is an
Yeah.
attribute or not. Whenever you return, now you can come to know the first text box is related to what? First text box is related to what?
User ID.
User ID or not. Okay, if I write like place holder, it is related to password, right? Now if I click on this one, this is like a password. Okay, now? Agreed? Yes. Now, if I enter some data, my user ID is like, okay, VTS, my password also VTS. Is it like a right behavior? Display the password. Displaying the password field. Is it the right way? Did you see anywhere, whenever you enter the password, whatever the text you entered, that is visible to you? Or it is some with mask? Come on. It is with some
Any-
mask, right? Yes or no? It is with some mask or not? No, but it is visible like this, right? Okay, I don't want like this. Then what do you want me to do? Come on. I want to make this one like a password field. Okay, in general, you can check any website. It's a general thing. Okay, daily basis you are using, right? Whenever you entered a password, whatever the text you entered, that is with some mask, right? But here it is not the right behavior. It is not like that. Whatever you entered in the password field, this is visible to me. This should not be the right behavior. It's not like this. It should not be like this. Then
Type equal password.
yes, there has one attribute is what?
Attribute
Equals
type
to
equal to password.
password or not. Perfect. Whenever you written like type equals to password, it is visible something like this or not. But in the background, what happened? That is my requirement. In the background, what happened?
CSS property.
Yeah, the element behavior like this means completely that is depending upon what? CSS or
This
not.
property.
So if you observe this input, these many CSS properties are there. First one is like input not to input not to input. How many blocks are there? 1, 2, 3 blocks are there. For this, if you observe 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks are there. Which one is like extra?
WebKit text security.
This block is like extra one or not? To my input tag, if the type is like password is there, then the time these many CSS properties are applied or not. Padding, leave it. It's like spacing related. But here, what is this one? Can you read it? WebKit text security. Because of this particular CSS property applied to this element, that element text visible with some mask or not? Yes or no? Come on. If you want to prove, oh, really? Okay, this particular CSS property to only? Yes, okay, I'll show you. Go to this input. Okay, can I add that particular input? Okay, WebKit text security. Now see, my VTS also visible like what? With some mask or not. Now it is like a disk. Okay, I don't want disk. I want with circle. See, my VTS visible with what? Circle. My visible with what? Disk. By default disk, none, square. Some default values are there or not there? Yes or no? So if you want to make some text visible with some mask, which CSS property you can apply? Come on, which CSS property you want me to apply? Tell me.
WebKit security.
Okay, WebKit text security. Text security. The value may be circle. That value may be, okay, what I can say, square. That value may be disk. Whatever it is. By default, what? By default, what?
Disk.
By default, it's like a disk or not? By default, it's like a disk. Understood, everyone? Okay, now? If anybody asks why this password field is behaving like this, Okay, you can tell one attribute add is type is like password, but if you ask like internally what happened, then the time you said you have to tell like what internally there has one CSS property applied. Internally there has one CSS property applied. See here nothing. Okay, everything is controlled from here only or not. Yes or no? This section only the name, that's it. That particular section controlled with what? Controlled with CSS only or not? Yes or no? Okay, so by using which CSS property we can make our text is visible with some mask. WebKit
Text security.
security is the one. WebKit text security. Okay, na? Okay then. And the last time we discussed about the registration form also. Registration form. Okay, here my registration form is like what? First name, one text box. Last name, one more text box. User ID, text box. Password, okay, password field. Okay, input type equals to what? Come on, type equals to password. Whenever you return input type equals to password with CSS property extra added to this text box. WebKit text security property or not. Okay. Now radio buttons are there. Okay. When you can go with the radio button? When you can go with the radio button? Hmm?
We have multiple options, so but we choose only one option.
Yeah, multiple options you have. Choose one option. Then the time you can go with what? Radio button or not. Yes or no? But my country is like in India. If you want to select India out of 256 countries, then the time you want me to go with the radio button.
Drop
If
down.
you write like this, then the time how many
Drop
lines
down.
is required? Okay, no. Then that time you can go with the drop down. When you can go with the radio button means just you have maximum 3 options. Just you have maximum 3 options. Then the time you can go with the radio button. More than 3, okay, better to go with what? Drop down or
Drop down.
select box or not. Okay, now there has multiple options are there. I want to select multiples. Then you can go with what? Multiple options are there. Okay, select multiples. Then the time you can go with the checkbox or not. Then the time you can go with the checkbox like this. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me if it is like okay, inspect it. Okay, go to what I can say. This particular element code I want. This is the para, right? If you observe here, now say this, okay, gender and gender. For example, if I remove this particular name attribute, then what happened? If I remove this name attribute, then what happened? Then what happened? Come on, if I remove this name attribute, then what happens? See, if I select male, male selected. If I select female, my female also selected. It is not the right behavior or not. So what you have to do, whenever you use radio button, those radio buttons should be make it like one group. Whenever multiple radio buttons are belongs to one group, in the group, if you select any one of the radio button, remaining all are like unselect. How we can make the radio buttons like one group means you have to use the name attribute with the same value. If name attribute is with same value, same for multiple radio buttons, those radio buttons are belongs to one group. That's it. Understood? Come on. Okay, same like this. The next one is like file upload. Okay, the next one is like address, something like this. Okay, now? Okay, then now just spend 5 minutes to write the test on HTML. Okay, let's go. Now we have the website write test. Now you also just register. Now you can go to write test. Okay, select HTML. Okay, let's answer this question. Below which are like block role elements? Come on first.
Div para.
Div,
Div, anchor,
Para.
para, span, div and para. Okay, how we can provide the additional information about the web page? Web page, think. If you want to give some additional information about the web page, script,
Meta tag.
JavaScript, meta tag. If you want to give some information about the web page at the time of application discussion, we'll tell. Okay, in the React application, we are going to add some meta tags. For example, I'm creating one website. Okay, that website is related to what? For example, you can take here uijavakit.com. Okay, go to the Google. Go to the Google. If you write like something like this, UI Java Kit. UI Java Kit. If I write like this, now see video school schedule, okay, full stack UI, okay, something like this, right? These all we added where? These all we added where? In your meta tags. It's going to tell something about your, it is going to tell something about your application web page or not. Got my point? Agreed. Okay, what is the purpose of this particular one? Everything you can see. Okay, meta tag. What is the link? What is body? We'll see that one. How to add title to the HTML page? How to add the
Title tag.
title? By using script tag, link tag, title tag, and meta tag. Title. Okay, if I give the title tag, then the time you can see the title here. Okay, I'll show you that one. Is HTML element is inline? HTML element is inline?
No.
No, right. No, right. HTML body, which type of elements?
Block level.
Block level. If you want to see, you can come here, put the cursor on the HTML. My HTML is what?
Block.
Block level element, right? Okay. Okay, then. Next. Inline elements take content width as its own width.
Yes.
Okay. Below
Yes.
which are like semantic elements. These are related to HTML5. We not yet discussed, but you can tell. Below which elements are like semantic elements? Header and section. At the time of HTML5, we'll discuss. Below which statements are valid? HTML elements behavior is depending upon the CSS. Yes, no?
Yes.
HTML code should compile.
No.
HTML is a markup language.
Yes.
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 HTML tags all are like inline elements.
No.
No,
No.
right?
No.
SVG or canvas? Which one is like object model based?
Yes.
Okay, SVG. Okay, you can see the answers also. This one we are going to discuss at the time of HTML5. Can we change the behavior of an element? Can we
Yes.
change? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, by using CSS. Any browser can understand by default only these things: TypeScript, HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
HTML,
HTML,
CSS,
CSS, JavaScript.
CSS, JavaScript,
HTML,
TypeScript, right?
CSS,
TypeScript don't know. TypeScript don't know. Mark you for what purpose?
Scroll
Display
the
content, scroll the content, hide the content, scroll the
Scroll
content.
the content.
content.
Using which tag we can load, okay, one external CSS file in the HTML.
Link.
Link
Link
tag.
script to load. Okay, now, okay, next within 15 minutes we are going to start CSS. That time you can come to know. Can we apply top, right, left, bottom CSS property to the static position element?
Yes.
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 Okay, yes sir. Okay. Difference between div and para. Div has
Div.
margin, para not having. Para has margin, div not having. Both are same. None. Para has margin, but div not having, right? Okay. To allow only numbers in the text box. Input to input type password, input type number, input type email.
Number type.
Equal number.
How we can change inline element to block level element?
Display.
Display block.
Below which statements are valid in HTML? P tag is a block level element. B tag
Inline.
is inline element. H1 tag is inline.
No.
No.
A tag is inline. Anchor tag.
Yes.
Where we can track the requests and responses in the developer console window.
network tab.
Network.
Network tab.
Okay, which input control is recommended to select one option from multiple options?
Radio.
Radio. Select also we can do it, right? Below which statements are valid? Valid for attributes in HTML. Attributes. It's a key value pair.
Yes.
Okay. Time up. Okay, tell me. It's a key value pair. Yes. Next. Placed inside open tag. Correct only, right? Can write only one attribute to one element. Yes, sir.
No.
One attribute. Any number of attributes you can write it. Duplicates attributes are allowed or not allowed?
Allowed, but it will be one.
Okay. You can write it, but it is not recommended one or not. Yes or no? Okay. Just you can write the test. It is like keep on changing the questions. Okay, randomly you can get some questions. Now this time you can get some other different questions. Okay, just try to write the test. Okay. Okay then. Up to you. Okay, any questions, anyone? We are going to start. Okay, CSS. Okay, we can come back again. Okay, HTML5. We can add some more. Any questions, anyone? If not, we can go with the CSS. Okay, so better communication, can you do one thing? Go to vtsschool.com. Can you join this group, full stack UI? This is the one, right? Yours. Okay, just join this group. Okay. Okay, if I want to share something, okay, directly I can share to you. Okay, just try to join this group. Okay, for your batch only you can join, remaining just leave it. Okay, just take 5 minutes break and come back. Okay. Any questions? If not, that's okay, fine. Take 5 minutes break and come back. Okay. So our next level discussion is about CSS. If anybody asks why we go for CSS, what's your answer? Already you know that answer. If anybody asks why we go for CSS, what's your answer? For CSS. Come on.
Look and
Change
feel.
and feel.
Yeah, look and feel. Another one is like simply you can say like change the behavior of an element, right? Change the behavior of an element. Yes or no? That is possible by using CSS or not. If you, okay, by using HTML, just we can prepare the content. It's like, okay, there is no, okay, there is no styles, nothing. Okay, look and feel is nothing. Okay, it's like normal content is there. If you want to make it look and feel, you can use CSS. If you want to perform some actions on that particular element, if you want to perform some actions on this particular element, then you can go with what? JavaScript or not. So if you want to change the behavior of an element, then you can go with the CSS. Now my question is like, I have one element is there. Very simple question. I have one element Sachin. I want to make the Sachin is like a red color. I want to change the behavior. My Sachin by default black. I want to make it like red. I want to make it like red. Now tell me how we can apply the CSS to change Sachin color black to red. That is the question. That is the question. Come on, how we can change?
Style equal to color. Style.
Style attribute using.
Yeah, the thing is here, there has first two inputs are required. One is like to whom, okay, to which element behavior you want to change. Which element behavior you want to change? Two
Dot.
inputs are required. Which element behavior you want to change first? Come on, give. This element behavior, I want to change it. The next one, next input is what, you know? Okay, what kind of behavior you want to change? You want font size, you want color, okay, what kind of behavior you want to change? That particular, okay, CSS property you required, so that if you want to apply the CSS property to any element, minimum two inputs are required. One is like what? Element. Another one is like what? CSS property. What is the CSS property? CSS property. Okay, see, the name is like CSS property. Property is nothing but what?
Key and value.
It's a key value pair. It's a key and value pair or not. So I need an element. I need a CSS property is nothing but key value pair. So where I can see all these key value pairs in CSS, how many properties are there? Do you know? In CSS, how many properties are there? How many properties are there in CSS? Do you know? Okay, if you don't know, no problem. Right click on the, okay, any domain you can open. Right click on it, open. Right click on it, open the developer console window. Now go to, come on, elements. Any one of the element you can click, come to the right side. Now see, here did you observe element dot style? Yes or no? Visible? Element dot style. After that curly brace is there. Na? Just click on, after curly brace, just click on it. After curly brace, put the cursor, click. Now see, the cursor is blinking, right? Now just you can write A. Now see, starts with A, these many CSS properties are there. Okay, starts with A. After that, starts with B, these many CSS properties, C, D, E, F, these many CSS properties are there. First question, tell me, is it possible to remember?
No.
No, right? No, right? Okay, why I need to remember these many CSS properties? Why I need? These all are visible, right? In the browser, all are there. In the internet, everything is there. Okay, then why I need to remember? Why I need to remember? Not only property key. See, click on the tab. Now see, this particular one applied with how many possible values, those values also you can see or not. So that my key is also available, key possible values also available or not. Yes or no? 1 or 2, okay, 100, okay, 50, maximum 50, okay. But there has hundreds of properties are there. Why I need to remember all this? Is it required to remember? Nothing is required. Why? Because everything is there in the Google, right? Directly you can take that one or not. But one thing you should learn, what you know, CSS properties not recommended to remember all. But if you have the CSS property, color is my key and my value is what? Red, na? Okay. If you have a CSS property and if you have an element, how to apply this CSS property to my element that is not in the browser? You are the person to take care or not? Yes or no? In the browser, CSS properties are there. In the browser, elements also there. But how to apply this particular CSS property to this particular element? Okay, that one you need to take care or not as a developer. Yes or no? So my question is now straight question. If you have an element and you have a CSS property, how many ways you can apply the CSS property to my element? That is the question. How many ways can we apply? The, come on, CSS property or properties to my element or elements, whatever it is. Okay, anyone knows how many ways you can apply? Three ways are there. One is
Three
like
ways.
inline styling,
Inline.
another one is like internal, the next
Internal.
one is like
External.
external. There has three ways are there. We can apply the CSS property to my element. Okay, let's go with the first one. Okay, inline. Now tell me, CSS stands for
Cascading style sheets.
cascading style sheet. Cascading style sheet stands for, that is, okay, the purpose is important. CSS stands for cascading style sheet, which is used for change the behavior of an element. If you have a CSS property and element, then the time we can apply that CSS property to my element in three ways. One is like through inline styling we can apply, another one is like through internal styling you can apply, another one is like through external styling we can apply. Shall we go one by one? Let's go. Inline styling. So can I create one more folder? CSS. Can I write like inline.html? Okay, now I have three players. I want to apply red color for all these three players. Okay, let's go. If I run this one, how these players rendered inside the browser, side by side, line by line.
Line
How
by
these players?
Line by line.
Line by line. Why? Because one thing you have to remember, The block level elements always starts with a new line. The block level elements always starts with what? New line. That the reason these all are like what? That the reason these all players, okay, rendered inside the browser as like a, okay, side by side or line by line,
Side
line
by
by line. Now if you run this, now see, yes, our requirement is what? I want to apply red color for all these players or not through inline styling, internal or external at this moment, through inline
inline.
styling or not. So very simple answer. If you want to apply some CSS properties to my element through inline styling, that is possible by using an attribute called as style attribute. Using which attribute? Style attribute. Now you know, right, the attribute, how it is. Attribute is a key value pair. Where you are going to place? Attribute is a key value pair. Where you are going to place? Come on, in the open
In
element,
the
right?
open
In the
tag.
open element or not, open tag or not. So that here div and here div is there. Which one is like open? This is my open tag, open tag, open tag. By using which attribute we can apply? Style attribute.
Style
So
attribute.
the attribute is nothing but what? It's a key value pair. So what is my key?
Style.
Style. What is my value? My
Color.
value is a CSS property. My value is what? CSS property. What is CSS property? CSS property. CSS property, look how it is looks like. It's a combination of what?
Key value.
Key value pair or not. Okay, as per our requirement, what is the key?
Color.
Okay, what is my value? Red. So that in this particular place, okay, my key is what? Color, and my value is what? Red. Now here my color and red, like okay, key value pairs, right? If you write like this only, both are like normal words, but if you want to represent it's a key, it's a value, okay, just you can put like differentiate with the colon. Before colon, okay, you can say like a key. After colon, that is like a value or not. Done, huh? Yes or no? Okay, let's go with next one. Come on. I want to apply red color. Tell me, through inline styling, how we can apply? We can by using style attribute. Attribute
Style.
always placed where? In the open tag. So
Open
attribute
tag.
is nothing but what? Key value pair. What is the key? Style. What is the value? CSS property. What is my CSS property? Property is nothing but what? Key value pair. What is my key? Color. What is my
Color.
value? Red.
Right.
Okay, here also my style, my color, red or not. Done, huh? Okay, now if you come here, see, all are applied like what? Red color or not. Not only one CSS property, I want to apply font size also. Font size 30 pixel or 50 pixel I want to apply. So how we can? Here only one property you add. I want to add one more property. What is my property? What is my
Font.
property? Font
Font
size. Okay.
size.
If you don't know, don't worry. Right click on it. Inspect it. To my Sachin. Okay. You applied already which styling? Color red through inline styling or not? After red, see, can you click again? My cursor is blinking or not? Here, which one you want? Come on. Font size. Okay. Now this is my key. Value side you can shift now. Click on tab. Now you're in value side. Which one you want? You can use these values. Otherwise, if you want to give specific pixels, you can give the pixel like this or not. So can I copy this one? Select and copy. Can I paste here? Done. But it is one property. It is one property. How we can differentiate one property to another property? Using
Colon.
okay, semicolon like this. Okay, key to value we can
Semicolon.
differentiate what? Key to value we can differentiate with colon. One key value to another key value. That means one CSS property to another CSS property. How we can differentiate? Semicolon or not. Like this, any number of CSS properties you can add to my element through which styling? Inline styling or not. Now if you come here, can I refresh? Now see Sachin, Dhoni, Kohli, all are visible or not. Okay, na? Understood? Through inline styling, how to apply? But okay, if you write the code like this, your requirement satisfied. Is it recommended way or not? That is the question. Is it the recommended way or not?
No.
No.
No. Why?
Same code is repeated.
Yeah, you're right. Why? Because very simple answer, right? By seeing this one only, color red to font size, color red to font size, color red to font size. How many times you repeated? 3 times you repeated. Yes or no? That means that duplicate code you written or not. Any programming language you can take it. Writing the duplicate code is not a recommended one or not. Writing the duplicate code is not a recommended one. So that here, first drawback is there may be a chance of writing a duplicate code or not. Yes or no? There may be a chance. Write the duplicate code or not. Another one is like very simple. Now the players are in the red color. Tomorrow my requirement change is like I don't want red, I want blue. Then the time how many places the change is required? How many places the change is required? 1, 2, 3. Like this, think 100 elements are there. 100 players, 100 places you have to do the change or not? Yes, no? One. Agreed or not? Okay, so can I say these two are like a drawbacks? Yes or no? One is like what? There may be chance of, okay, write the duplicate code. There may be chance. You may write the duplicate code. That is one drawback. Another one is like making the changes also very difficult, very costly or not. To overcome those two drawbacks, they introduced one more styling. That is what?
Internal
styling or not? Internal styling. Okay, so how we can apply the internal styling? That is the first question or not? Okay, tell me how we can apply. Using
Style tag.
style tag. By
Style
using
tag.
style tag. By using style tag. So that what you have to do? The same requirement only. Control C, Control V. Just I copy pasted. I want to rename like internal. Okay, done. Now tell me. This is my inline and this is my internal. Tell me, you want a style attribute or you want style attribute or not required?
Not required.
Not required, right? Then what do you want me to do?
Remove it.
Okay, just remove this one. Just remove this one. Just remove it. Just remove it. Okay, now I want to add which one? I want to add style tag or not? Style tag. So can I write the tag? Style tag. Yes. Now, if you run this internal.html, okay, just see. Yeah. Can you hear me now? If you come here, if you run this one, internal. Now, let me open our elements tab, developer console window, elements tab. See, what you observe, just let me know. Total, how many elements you written? Total, how many elements you written? Tell me. 4. 4 elements you written. So, among 4, head I opened, body I opened. What do you observe?
Style is inside head.
Style placed inside the head, remaining 3 placed inside where?
Body.
Inside the body or not? Style placed inside the head, remaining 3 placed inside the body or not? Yes or no? Am I written somewhere, hey, place style inside the head, okay, div inside the body? Am I placed? Am I told to my browser? Anywhere am I mentioned? Anywhere am I mentioned? No, right? My browser knows everything. which element has to place inside the head, which element you have to, okay, which element has to place inside the body. By seeing this one, now tell me, which elements are placed inside the body? The element which content is required to show, okay, which element content is required to show to the end user, those elements placed inside where? Body or not. Which elements content is not required to show to the browser, show to the end user, and give some support which are visible already, that kind of elements where it is going to place. Come on, the element content not required to visible to the end user, but that particular content gives some support, already some elements loaded, right? These are giving some support to that particular elements, that kind of elements where it is going to place in the head tag or not. So whatever you placed in the head tag, that is visible or not visible? Tell me,
No.
visible or not visible?
Not this.
See, by default my display is what? By default
None.
display is what? None, right? By default display is like none. Understood everyone? Okay, okay then. Now by using style tag, so I added like a style tag. Next, our requirement is what? I want to apply red color, right? So how we can apply the red color? If it is like internal styling, we have a syntax. What is the syntax? You know, first, to which element you want me to apply red color? So select that element, that is called as a
Selector.
selector. There are so many selectors are there, we can discuss. The next one, which CSS properties you want me to apply? Come on, which CSS properties? How many CSS properties? Tell me. Color red, font size 30 pixel. Otherwise, in future, there are so many CSS properties. That's okay. Now, these CSS properties apply to this particular element or not? So, can you wrap in a single, okay, in a single component like this? Now, open curly brace and close it. Now, whatever the CSS properties are there in the curly brace, those all CSS properties are applied to this particular element or not? Yes, no? Got my point? Agreed? Okay, so that first one is like select the element. Which element you want me to apply the CSS properties?
Div.
Which CSS properties you want me to apply?
Color red.
Color red. Next one is what?
Font size.
Font size 50 pixel. Done. Now can I run it? Can I run this one? Now if I run it, now see, this particular style tag has some content. Is it visible or not visible? Content visible or not visible? Not visible. But that particular content, okay, give some extra benefits, okay, extra, okay, these particular content works for what? The content already which is rendered inside the browser or not? How it is worked? That content make it like what? Red color or not? Now if we click on this one, now see my div is applied with what? Color red and font size or not? Yes or no? Okay, same like that. I want to apply for come on, I want to apply it for
E and H.
E and H tag also or not? H1 tag, right? Can I save it? Now can you come here? Can I refresh? Yes. Okay, but here, tell me. But here, color red font size. Color red font size. Color red font size. Again, you written the duplicate code, right? Again, you written the duplicate code or not? Yes or no? Again, you written the duplicate code or not? Okay, because of duplicate code you written in the inline styling, that's the reason only you shifted to what? Internal styling. Again, you written like a duplicate code. It's not make sense, right? Okay, come on. How we can avoid this problem? Very simple. If you want to apply the same CSS properties for multiple elements, just select those elements with comma separated. With the comma separated. Now, can I remove this? Come on, can I remove this? Now, if you run this, it is working as expected or not? See this. Okay, now see the drawbacks. What are the drawbacks? Drawbacks tell me. Inline styling. Inline styling drawbacks tell me. First one is what?
Duplicate code.
Written the duplicate code at the element level, right? Next,
To
next,
make changes.
making the changes like difficult. Making the changes or difficult or not. Okay. Now, those two drawbacks are like overcome here or not, tell me. Written the duplicate code at element level. Am I written any duplicate code here? Did you find anywhere duplicate code?
No.
No, right? Now, if you want to change red to blue, how many places the change is required?
One place.
Only one place is enough or not. That means whatever the drawbacks you found in the inline styling, you overcome those drawbacks in the internal styling. Yes, no. You overcome those drawbacks in the internal styling. Yes or no? Come on. You overcome those drawbacks or not? Tell me. Agreed with
Yes.
me? One. Okay. Now, if they overcome all the drawbacks, then why the external styling they introduced? That means why they introduced external styling? That means there has some drawbacks or there in the internal styling also or not. Yes or no? There has some drawbacks or there in the internal styling also or not. What are the drawbacks in the internal styling? What are the drawbacks in the internal styling? Okay,
Same.
we'll discuss. Okay, come on. Up to okay, everyone, how to apply inline styling and how to apply internal styling? Okay, let's go. Now, I want to create one simple application here that is like application contains multiple pages, right? That is like a quick info application, for example. My application is like what? Quick info. In this application, there has 3 teams are there. Each and every team has 3 players. I want all the players red color and font size is like 50 pixel. So let's write it. The quick info is an application. Think like an application now. It's like an application. Okay, na? In the application, how many teams are there? 3 teams are there. For example, West Indies like 1 team. The next one is like India is like 1 team. India is like 1 team. Okay. New Zealand is like 1 team, for example. Okay, done. There has 3 teams are there. Okay. Now in India team, same players only you can take it. Okay. Same players only you can take it. Okay. In the New Zealand team, there has some players you can take it. Okay. Player 1, player 2, player 3, like this you can take. Okay, how many 3 players, right? Okay, just you can write like some right. Okay, any other players are there?
Ramlu. No. Latham.
This spelling is okay.
Yeah.
Next.
Sanitary.
Rajendra.
Rachan Ravindra. Okay. Now go to West Indies. The same, can I take it? Devu Bear or something like this. West Indies also some players you can take it. Lara you can take. The next one is like
Pollard.
Next. Rasul. Okay. Now let's run all this. Let's run all this. Now India. These are the India players. Let me close remaining tabs. The next one is like New Zealand players. The next one is like West Indies players. That's okay, fine. Done. Okay, our requirement. Come to our requirement now. What is our requirement? Application level. Think at application level. Come on, what's our requirement? All the players in the red color and
Fonts.
font size 50 pixel. So far, you know, 3 ways to apply the styling. Okay. 3 ways are there, but 2 ways we discussed. Among those 2, which one is like recommended one? Which one is the best?
Internal.
Internal or not? So internal styling, how we can apply?
By using style tag.
By using style tag. So that I can write like a style, div comma, para comma, h1. Next, my
Color
color,
red.
my color is like a red, and my font size is like 50 pixel. Done. Okay, now my India team is okay or not? Yes or no? Same like this. How many teams required?
3 teams.
Okay, remaining 2 teams also, right? Remaining 2 teams also required or not? Think of application level. Think it is like an application. Okay, so that you can go to the West Indies team also. Now you can come here. Yes. Now, if you come to the New Zealand, yes. If you come to the West Indies, yes. My requirement satisfied or not? But in my application, there are 3 pages are there. Each and every page, if you observe, some of the code is like duplicate code or not.
Yes.
Yes or no? Come on.
Yes.
Now this time you written the duplicate code. In the inline, you written the duplicate code at which level?
Element level.
Element level. This time you written the duplicate at which level?
Page level.
Page level, right? Okay, page level or not? Now tell me, if you want to do the change, all the team players color red to green, how many places you need to do the change? Open the first page, change it. Open the second page, change it. Open the third page, change it. 100 pages are there. You want me to change like this? Is it the recommended way?
No.
No, right? Now tell me the drawback now. Tell me the drawback.
Duplicate
This is
code.
which kind of styling? Inline or internal?
Internal.
Internal. Okay, drawback tell me. In the internal, you written the duplicate code at element level or page level this time.
Page level.
You written the duplicate code at the page level or not. Okay, and again, making the changes are like what? Very costly, difficult or not? Yes or no? Making the changes are like very costly or not? Now tell me, okay, how we can avoid, how we can overcome this particular problem? That is the question.
Create one.
One more styling is there or not? Okay, what is that? That has one more styling also there. Which one?
External style.
That is like external styling or not? So shall we go with the external styling? How we can go with the external styling? Okay, let's create one external file with the extension of CSS. So can I write like styles dot? Okay, styles dot CSS. Whatever you written at page level, don't write. Just okay, you can write at the external file or not in the external file. Now here, see, it is not okay syntactically valid. Why if you come to the New Zealand, see, actually this file extension is what? Come on, the file extension is what? HTML, right? So if it is like HTML, by default, it is going to recognize all your HTML elements. But in the HTML, if you want to tell to my browser, hey, this block is related to CSS, how we can tell? By using style tag only. Wherever my browser find the style tag, then my browser can understand like these are the CSS stuff. Wherever my browser finds something like a script tag, okay, then my browser can understand like what? Okay, there has some JavaScript code in this particular script tag, like that my browser can understand or not? Yes or no? But main file is what? What is our main file extension? The main file extension is what?
.html.
HTML only or not? In the HTML, if you want to tell to my browser, this particular section is belongs to CSS, how we can tell? Using, come on, how we can tell to the browser? How we can tell to the browser? Come on.
Style,
This particular section is belongs to CSS using style tag.
style
How
tag.
we can tell to the browser this particular section of code is belongs to JavaScript? How we can tell?
Using script
tag
tag.
or not? Within the HTML file, if you want to tell something about this section is belongs to CSS, style tag. This section is belongs to JavaScript, which tag? Script tag or not? Understood? Okay. Now, if you come to the CSS, this file itself CSS, right? Whatever you have, that is like a CSS properties only. Again, you want me to tell, okay, hey, this is like a CSS, like that. You want me to tell to my CSS file? Is it required?
No,
If it is like HTML, you can tell. But if it is like CSS, then why you need to tell again it is like a CSS? No, right? That the reason there is no style tag, nothing is required. Just remove it. Other than that, internal styling and external styling, syntax is like same. Okay, na? Now, can you come here in the New Zealand? Can I remove this one? Okay. If you come here, West Indies, can I remove this one? Internal styling is not required. Now, come here. Yes, it is working. Okay. But West Indies not working. But New Zealand and West Indies also not working. Why it is not working? Why it is not working? Okay, here India is working. Why? The previous one is there or what? Okay, India also should not work, right? Yes. Now can you run it? See, India also not working, New Zealand also not working, West Indies also not working. Why it is not working? That is the question. You removed the internal styling. That's okay, fine. You added that styling in the CSS file. That is also okay, fine. But at the time of loading this particular india.html, that CSS loading or not loading? That is the question.
not loading.
CSS loading or not loading? You said like not loading. That's okay, great. But show me that. Okay, prove it. Is it not loading or not loading? At the time of loading this particular URL, how many files or how many requests my browser send, where you can track. At the time of loading this particular URL, how many requests my browser send, where we can track. In the developer console window, where we can track.
In the network.
Network
Tab or not. Now, if you come here, if I refresh the page, okay, if you come here, if I refresh the page, my browser send how many requests?
one request.
For what file? Which file? For which file? For
HTML.
which file? HTML file. Okay, so in the browser, only one file loaded, that is HTML. Whenever my browser send a request and get the response, that response stored in which tab?
Source tag.
Source tab. Okay, now tell me, at the time of loading my india.html, did you find anywhere that CSS?
No,
No, right? If it is not loaded, how that CSS is applied? If it is loaded, then only, right? My browser pick that one and apply. Yes or no? But that particular file is not loaded. Then my question is, how we can load one external CSS file in my HTML or not? Yes or no? The question. How we can load one external CSS file in my HTML? Can anyone tell me how we can load it?
by using link
By
tag.
link tag.
Link tag.
Link.
Okay, where is my CSS file? That file
Page.
path you can give it. What is my file path? Styles.css. Which attribute you have to give the file path? href
Relation.
attribute. My relation equals to
Relation.
style sheet.
Styles.
Okay, these two attributes are mandatory for my link tag. If you add those two attributes, okay, it is going to pick that file. It is going to load that file at the time of loading your HTML. So question is what? How we can load one external CSS file in your HTML? By using which tag? Link tag. Which attributes are mandatory?
Relation
Two
href.
attributes. One is like relation, another one is like what? Href.
Href.
Relation is like what? Style sheet, and my href is like what? Your path. This style sheet is like a predefined one. Don't change that name. Now, if you come to this, if you go to the network, Okay, again, if I refresh the page, now tell me, my browser sent how many requests?
2 requests.
2 requests my browser send or not? One for what? India.html. One for what?
Styles.css.
Styles.css. Okay. Once my request got completed, response where it is going to store?
Source tab.
Source. In the source tab, your HTML also there, your CSS also there. So my HTML and CSS both are inside the browser. My browser, okay, can do, okay, based on your whatever you written the code, my browser can, okay, render inside the, okay, it is going to paint your content or not? Yes or no? Understood? Come on. Now, if you come to the New Zealand, come on. If you come to the New Zealand, if I refresh the page, come on. If I refresh the page, only one request going, right? Is it going? Is it going to send? Okay, is it going? Is it sending the request to get the CSS? No, right? That's the reason. What you have to do? Come on. What you have to do? That's the reason it's not visible. What you have to do? You have to load that CSS or not. Okay, here also you have to load that CSS or not. Okay, now if you come here, my New Zealand also working and my West Indies also working or not? Yes, no. Come on. Agreed or not? Okay, now if you want to change, okay, if you want to change color green to red, how many places that change is required? How many places that change is required? Only one place is enough.
Only one.
How many times you written this code? How many times you written this code? Only
One.
time. That means whatever the drawbacks are there in your internal styling, those are overcome here or not. You written the duplicate code at page level. Am I written the duplicate anywhere in the page level? Am I written the duplicate code anywhere?
No.
Okay, making the changes for costly, I said. Now, is it like costly? Instead of this particular one, if you put like blue, how many changes required? Only one place is enough. Okay, those are like affected each and every place or not. So that finally conclude one point. There has 3 ways we can apply the CSS properties to my element, inline, internal, and external. But which one is recommended one?
External styling.
External.
Always external styling or not? Got my point? Always external styling or not? Agree with me, all? Always external styling or not? Okay, na? Okay, then. I have one small question. Okay, you can answer it. Okay, it's simple only. You can. Up to you, okay, everyone? If anybody asks how many ways we can apply CSS properties to my element, you can answer it or not? Okay. See, I have 2 files, one.html, another file is like one.css. Okay. How we can add that CSS style link? Relation equals to
I'll see.
style
Style
sheet
sheet.
and my href
Okay.
equals to one.css. Okay.
Dot.
Now here I have a div is there, such. Okay, na? Yes. Now here my style color red. This is which kind of styling?
Inline.
Inline. Okay, here my style div color is like green. Okay, here my div color is like yellow. If you observe this code, only one element is there. You applied inline styling, you applied internal styling, you applied external styling also or not? Yes or no? You applied external styling also or not? So my question is, if I run this code, my Sachin is visible in which color? That is the question.
Yellow
Red.
color.
Red.
Red.
Yellow.
Okay. My Sachin
Red.
is visible like in which color? It is like a red color. Why? Because my inline styling always get the first priority. My inline styling always get the first priority, so that first inline already there or not there? Yes, there. That the reason my search is turned to be like what? Visible with which color? Red color. If you want to check, you can check it. Now come here. Let me write one more priority order. Okay, inside this one, can I write like one file, one.html? Okay, na? Same code. The next one is what? Come on, one more file, one.css. Inside this one, my color is like what? Yellow, na? Done, na? Yes or no? Up here, okay? Can I run it? How we can run? Now go here. CSS priority order. Now if I run this one, that is in which color? Okay, why it's not visible? Nothing is visible. Not saved. One.html is not saved, right? Yes. Now can we run it? Yes. This in which color? Red color, right? It is in red color or not? Yes or no? Why it is in the red color? The priority order is always like what? First get the inline and then internal and then external. That is the priority order. For example, if inline is not there, then the time who get the priority? Who get the priority? Green, internal or not? If the internal also not there, then the time who get the priority? External. External or not? So if anybody asks the what is the priority order, what's your answer? The priority order is like always inline is greater than internal and is greater than external or not. Okay, so my question is what, now I want yellow color. Inline is there, internal also there, external also there, but I want, okay, external. Is there any possibility is there or not? Yes, possibility is there. When how okay, whenever you add the CSS property with the important, then that time that particular important one only get the first priority irrespective of your priority order. Now inline, internal, external also there, but one CSS property, that is external, internal, it's not a matter. Which CSS property is like make it like important, that one only get the first priority. So here which one is like important? Inline, internal, external, make it like important.
External.
External. So that who get the priority? External get the priority or not? Yes or no? Got my point? Okay, for example, if I remove this one, the same important, if I add it to this guy, then the time who get the priority? Inline there, who get the priority?
External.
Okay,
Internal.
internal or not? Now internal also important to external also important, then who get the priority? Come on. Internal also there, external also there, who get the priority? Both are same
Internal.
means, okay, internal and external, which one get the priority? Both are
Internal.
same only, internal, right? So that we can get like what, internal or not? Can I add here, okay, as important? Can I write like this? Can I write like this? Then who get the priority?
Inline.
Inline or not? Again,
Inline.
got my point? The basic priority order is like inline, internal, and external by default. Irrespective of priority order, if you want to apply one CSS property directly to the element, make that CSS property as an important. Understood? All are okay? So that is the priority order. Okay. Okay, then let me share with you these things, the running notes and everything. Okay, this is the one. See, right? Go to Kalam schools. Okay, go to 11 a.m. last session questions and everything is there. You can try to prepare your own notes. Okay, try to prepare your own notes. Okay, newcomers, just open this website. Let me share with you. I pasted in chart. So you can open this website. You can see what I can say. See the running notes, and the next one is like go to writetest.in. Just log in and complete HTML test. Okay, complete HTML test. Okay, the JavaScript programs and everything at the time of JavaScript will tell. Okay, if you click on the login, okay, every day you can get some JavaScript programs like this. Every day you can get like some JavaScript programs like this. Okay, JavaScript discussion we'll see. Okay, don't worry about that one. For now, just you can focus on write the test. Okay, the next one is these revealing file explorer. Okay, these programs also I will share in tomorrow session. Okay, these programs also I will share in tomorrow session. For now, whatever we discussed, just you can complete from your end. I'm going to upload this video. You know, right, how to get the demonstration videos. Okay, go to our vtsschool.com. Now here itself you can find your batches like this one, right? View the demo sessions. Okay, already there has 3 demo sessions out there, I guess. Okay, I'm going to add today's one. Okay, I'm going to add today's one. Okay. Okay, then we'll continue remain things in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow you can join as usual, 11:30 exactly. Any questions, anyone? Anyone have any questions? No? Okay, then. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining. Bye.